Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us. We're very excited to be here. Dr. Tam Smith, obviously, principal at the middle school. Very excited to introduce my colleagues here. Sitting next to me is Maddie Kowalis. She is an amazing special education teacher, specializing in our 7th grade students. And sitting next to her is Erin Dilbeck, assistant principal at the middle school. What we'd love to do tonight is obviously highlight and showcase some of the great things that are happening at the middle school this semester. But specifically, we really want to hone in on 2 areas that are board-directed areas. One is the impact of content-driven instruction, direct explicit instruction through the lens of our professional development. And Erin's going to talk about STEP Lab specifically and the impact that that's had on teaching and learning. And then even more exciting is having Maddie here, because she will talk about really the most important part of that, which is how has our instruction this semester impacted our students, with a special lens that we're looking through, which is our student services lens. I know that that's also a board directive. How do we close the achievement gap and see growth in our kids, specifically kids that are struggling academically? So to begin with, I'll get us started. Obviously, very excited. As you know, we rebuilt Elizabeth Middle School from really the ground up this summer, 2.0. As you know, we did some reconstitution of multiple areas of the school, including a building reconstitution, where we literally cleaned the walls, the carpets, the building from top to bottom. We moved classrooms from a spread out kind of mapping area to pods, with the focus on transitioning kids to the academics much quicker, much more expediently, without losing time chasing down kids in hallways, finding lost backpacks, all of those kind of challenges that middle schoolers face. And then from there we did what I would call a professional development reconstitution, where, as you know, we brought in really fantastic PD to go from what I would call an exploratory learning module to a direct content-driven instruction module, where we're now really pushing content-driven instruction in the classrooms, so that we move away from teachers being the guide on the side and more towards mastery, where teachers are literally pushing their kids deep into content so they can master the concepts and then obviously close the achievement gap. And then the third area that we reconstituted is our culture. And that's obviously, as you know, with all schools, that's an ongoing challenge and an ongoing goal. But really, look, we put the elephants out in the room back in May, and we highlighted areas that we needed to grow in as a school. And it's been really exciting to watch our staff go through those challenges together, with different and new leadership and new goals ahead of them. So we're really excited with where we are. I know that you have been hearing a lot from the community, hopefully some, the good more than the bad, we hope, about how well the middle school is progressing. And honestly, that is down to our teachers and our staff. I couldn't be prouder of the teachers and staff. They have worked really hard this semester on improving their practice, improving their professional plans across all of those different areas. And that's not easy. As you know, even one of those challenges, one of those reconstitutions, even of itself, is really challenging. But to have 3 major impacts in one semester is a lot. And the teachers have been incredible, the support staff have been incredible. So I'm very proud of that. So to get things going, because I know we're limited on time, I'm going to hand the microphone over to Erin.
Thank you. All right. I wrote something so I didn't forget any important parts. The STEP Lab implementation has generated strong instructional impact across classrooms and grade levels. Teachers demonstrated improved use of research-based instructional practices with clear alignment to school-wide goals around direct explicit instruction. Participation in STEP Lab has supported meaningful professional collaboration. Teachers have reported that the process has been supportive, non-evaluative, and actionable. Teachers have demonstrated confidence in applying the strategies independently and showed readiness to continue refining their practice. It has provided teachers with personalized professional development based on their strengths and opportunities for improvement. While it has taken some adjustment for teachers to adapt to a new feedback system and quantity of feedback, we are very proud of how teachers have responded to this district-wide initiative. Overall, STEP Lab has been successful in strengthening instructional practice, building teacher capacity, and increasing student engagement and learning readiness.
Just to share, StepLab is a feedback tool, and I know a couple of board members had the opportunity of seeing it and talking to Zach Rochelle when he was here, and not every board member had the chance to attend his reception, but it is an opportunity for teachers to get immediate feedback with some support in how to address, how to take that next step, hence the name StepLab. Gives them a video of here's a strategy that might be helpful to you to utilize in your classroom. And so it is something new that we're implementing as part of our direct explicit instruction initiative this year, and it certainly has had a huge impact in our buildings. So.
Really the goal of the StepLab model is that, you know, myself and Aaron are in and out of all the classrooms. We divided up the staff into, you know, one takes one half, the other takes the other. And really they're what we call 6-minute drop-ins on average, you know, anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, but on average about 67 minutes. And we come in at different times throughout the lesson to see direct content-driven instruction. It could be we come in at the end to see how the content ties into the objective. It could be at the beginning to see how we transition from iReady content, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But it's been really powerful because it allows us the freedom to visit multiple classrooms throughout the day without overwhelming, hopefully, the teacher, whilst giving, you know, a suggestion in that moment. And sometimes we don't always give a suggestion, but it allows for us to coach formatively in real time and, you know, send a vignette, a paragraph of, hey, this is what we see that's highly effective, so it's always very positive, and then if needed we suggest something for them to work on so it's not overwhelming. So it's very much formative in real time, which is what teachers need. You know, they don't need me coming in saying, well, at 6:10 you stood at the back of the class. Well, they know they stood at the back of the class at 6:10. What they need to know is, hey, some challenging thoughts and questions. Tell me how you tied in the objective to your transition. Or, I noticed you transitioned from objective to, you know, this next part. What was your thought process? Or, here's a suggestion on how to do that smoother. You know, so it's very much a formative tool in that moment.
And just wanted to comment when we had the curriculum review committee, I believe it was or so ago, and you had mentioned, and there were other teachers and principals there who had mentioned that this StepLab thing is it's being very well received. It seems like the teachers are really liking the feedback format, and I liked a word you used, Erin, of the actionable. It's good, you know, it's one thing to say, you know, such and so to a person, but then it's like, well, what do I do with that, you know? And so it's very, it seems just like an amazing tool, and it seems like the teachers are really liking it, and of course it's something that has to be, you know, developed, and everybody gets used to it more and more, and then it'll become more and more useful as time goes on. But I was very excited to hear that, and I'm very excited to hear you talking about it tonight. So
And
thank you.
yeah, and I think too, it's just allowing us to build that culture of feedback.
Yes.
So when we're in and out, they get used to it, and they'll get to the point where hopefully they don't even notice us
Yeah,
doing
exactly.
it.
Exactly. So I love that. I love it. And thank you guys for really stepping up and doing that well and faithfully.
Well, thank you for
Thank
the
you.
investment, you know, because obviously that comes from you guys and it is making an impact. It's not been without its challenges, of course, like anything new, but I think as Aaron said, as we get more and more, as you know, as we do it more often and the teachers get more used to it, it'll be something that becomes embedded within the academic culture. So switching gears then, one of the things that's been really exciting is to watch the impact of iReady. As you know, we made the investment in our district with investing in iReady as a tool, you know, to again close the achievement gap, to demonstrate growth in our students. We made the commitment at the middle school that every day in English and mathematics, we would, without fail, start our classes with 15 minutes of iReady a day. And we have literally been consistent throughout, you know, the building with that. And what's wonderful is we can see the impact that it's had on our students. And so Maddie is here to talk a little bit about that.
Yes, thank you for allowing me to come and talk about my kids. I love talking about them. Oh, yes, please. Thank you. Yes, thank you.
We have a handout for the board members.
He knows the order he's to do them.
But I will apologize up front. I did it being a foreigner, you know, they were teasing me that I drive on the wrong side. I didn't swim on the packet on the wrong side.
Did you date it the right way though? Because that's the thing that always gets me confused.
So it may look a little backwards, but if you see 7th grade up top, you're on the right page. So I have redacted names, but overall my students have been doing very well with iReady. We're seeing an upward trend with all of them. However, today I compiled only 2, and redacted names of course, but I have reading and math iReady scores for 2 students, student A and student B. Student A, I included iReady reading and iReady math, as well as some IEP goals. Again, all the names are redacted, so there's nothing, you know, pertinent with the child's name attached to it. But I mean, as you can see, I can just talk about it. But starting on page 1, the iReady for student A. He is grade level. I'm 7th grade mild mod, and he's grade level, which is very exciting. He was not on grade level at the beginning of the year, not at the beginning of last year, sorry. At the beginning of last year, he was not on grade level, and then this year he is on grade level, which is super exciting. Vocabulary, he's grade 6, but that's just 1 year behind. I'm not too worried about that, because the comprehension is still at a grade 7, which is phenomenal. Also, we've got iReady reading on the bottom half of the page, and continuing on the next page, broken down into each domain where we can bridge that academic gap. And then iReady math is right underneath that, and he is also a 6th grade overall in iReady math. This is the same student, so I'm very happy to say that he has been making strides, great strides. And then with the iReady math, there is on page 3, there's going to be broken down into each domain what we can do to help bridge that academic gap. And then we can skip, you can review the IEP goals and grades if you want. But if you skip to the second to last page, we have student B here, and we have iReady reading and iReady math. And same thing, we have each domain broken down into how we can bridge those academic gaps. But I love this report here because at the beginning of last year, he was at a grade 2. And now he is showing, for reading, he is showing a grade 6. So he is responding very well to this iReady. So I'm very proud that he is responding well to the iReady, and I get to present on that. So
Well, I
I'm
can
very
say
happy.
responding to the iReady and your instruction
Yes.
that you're
Yeah.
providing them as
Yeah.
well, so don't
Yes.
underestimate that
Yes.
too. So I have to say, Maddie is just one of our teachers who I'm just so proud of, because she wants the best for students. She wants them to achieve grade level status, and so often we see special education, when a student gets labeled, we lower expectations, and it's really something we've encouraged our teachers. Special education students can achieve grade level expectations, and a teacher like Maddie is certainly one who has that expectation. So Maddie also was one of our COUT trainees last summer, and while she's not practicing as a COUT right now, we look forward to her continuing that and becoming a COUT in the future for the district. So thank you, Maddie, for the
One
great
of the
job you
things,
do.
Maddie's very humble. I will just say this, of the 14 kids, all of them have made incredible growth. So even though we're highlighting 2 here, I know she's very humble, but those, literally, all the kids on her caseload have grown incredibly well. And that's down to great instruction, but also instructional support with iReady and good practice. And that's what we wanted to talk about tonight. So what questions do you have for us?
I just want to say thank you. I can tell you have a real passion for what you do, and we love that. And that was the whole goal of everything that we've been implementing, was to feed that passion by putting the tools in your hands that help you be the professionals that we need in your So thank you. Thank you for all the hard work. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us
Yes,
tonight.
thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tam.
We're
Thank you,
excited.
Maddie.
Ready
Thank you,
to see the
Aaron.
fruits of the labor.
I know, right?
End of the year. so next up we have the Independence Classical Academy. They're here to give us an update.
She's gotta warm up. Let's see if we can get it's trying. Is there a cord to plug into? No.
Hmm.
Sometimes you're there, sometimes you're there.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. So then you just click on the screen. Yeah. That should. There we go. Okay. First of all, we'd like to thank Superintendent Snowberger and members of the board for allowing us to come and give us this opportunity to update you on Independence Classical Academy. Independence Classical Academy is a new classical tuition-free public charter school opening in August of 2026 with grades K through 5. Let me see where I'm at here. Okay. There are several reasons why Independence Classical Academy is needed in Elizabeth. First, there's rapid population growth and rising student demand here in the district. Elizabeth and the surrounding areas are experiencing rapid residential growth, bringing hundreds of new families and more students into the district. Existing district schools do not have the space to safely absorb that growth. Number 2, there is a demand for classical education and more school choice. Many parents expressed interest in a classical education option, especially those currently homeschooling, paying private tuition, or sending students out of the district. ICA's classical virtue-based curriculum fills this unmet demand by aligning with these educational values, expanding educational options, and keeping students within the Elizabeth School District. Number 3, there are capacity and infrastructure limitations as well as financial constraints within the Elizabeth School District. Adding hundreds of new students could lead to overcrowding without additional public school options. ICA offers a cost-effective solution by adding capacity through a different funding model, easing pressure on district facilities, allowing the Elizabeth School District to grow without overextending limited capacity resources. And number 4, a charter school is a feasible way to meet demand without relying on new tax-funded construction. With the knowledge that a bond issue to build a district school would face significant headwinds, the charter school option for adding capacity is more realistic. ICA's approval helps the district meet growth needs while giving families an academically rigorous alternative with a classical school model. In summary, ICA is not just another school, it is a long-term investment in the health, stability, and responsiveness of the Elizabeth School District. This one just there? Okay. The numbers you see on the screen are ICA's 5-year enrollment plan. We are working on obtaining year 1 enrollment with the goal of enrolling 200 students. With a maximum of 25 students per class, that would be 2 kindergartens, 2 first grades, and 1 class each of 2nd through 5th grade. We just recently opened our enrollment on November 1st. Our goal is 200 students, and we will run the lottery on January 12th. Now that we have the CSP grant money, we will be spending a good amount of it on marketing and advertising. We fully expect to greatly increase our enrollment after the first of the year. To ensure equitable access, ICA is committed to reaching out to all sectors of our community. We are advertising through social media, businesses, signs, posters, brochures, webinars, meetings, and word of mouth. Our target market area is the Elizabeth
and surrounding areas such as Kiowa, Elbert, Aurora, and eastern Douglas County. We are especially targeting homeschoolers, students attending private schools, and students that have left the school district to attend schools of choice in other districts. ICA plans to add a grade level each year, and for example, our second year will add 6th grade, third year 7th grade, and by year 5, our goal is to provide an education for students from kindergarten through 9th grade and have a student population of over 400 students. Now I'd like to briefly discuss ICA funding sources. The first source of funding is a startup loan that currently stands at approximately $47,000 and comes from Academica, or educational service provider, supplying ICA with initial funding for operational flexibility. Our second source of funding comes from a Daniels Fund grant awarded in the amount of $75,000, which has afforded ICA the ability to keep our headmaster and pay for some marketing expenses this year. ICA's largest source of funding is coming from the Colorado Charter School Program Grant, or the CCSP grant, totaling $1,297,404, which will significantly support marketing and outreach, staffing, curriculum, desks, equipment, and materials and tech needs during the launch phase. We are very excited to have received this competitive grant, as ICA was one of the first charter schools awarded. We were selected in the first tier, so the league believes in and is very supportive of our school. The contract that is being signed tonight will enable the grant funds to be released, as well as move forward the loan we are in the process of finalizing. And our last source of funding listed on the screen is for a low-interest $250,000 loan that we are currently in the process of obtaining from the Colorado Charter Facility Solutions Group, which will be assisting ICA specifically with facility-related renovation costs. This loan is another huge win for ICA because Colorado Charter School Facility Solutions Group is winding down their program. This money is going to be utilized to beautify the school so it will be cleaned, renovated, warm, friendly, and ready to welcome students next fall. Together, these funding sources total $1,669,404 and will enable ICA to establish a strong foundation for opening and operating the school. The ICA leadership will responsibly steward all funds we receive. In early spring, ICA was just getting ready to start the Frontier building renovations when we were informed of the roofing issue. With the possibility of astronomical repair costs, we started looking for facility alternatives. We looked at a few possible options, but every possibility for a facility was prohibitively expensive or unavailable. So when we heard that the district was going to fix the roof and once again offered the use of the Frontier building as an option for ICA, we were overjoyed. The Frontier building is really the only feasible option for an initial school location for ICA, and we are very thankful and appreciative for the opportunity to be using that building. Thank you. We are hoping that after ICA moves to the new school facility in the Independence neighborhood, that the district will also be able to get some use out of the renovated Frontier Center. Okay, one of the first renovations ICA tackled is the main office. It has been painted, the carpets have been cleaned, and the locks on the 2 office doors have been changed. New lighting, curtains, and furniture are still needed to complete the job. We plan to use the space for Headmaster Turner's office, a teacher's lounge, and a conference room. It is really a great space, and it will look even better once the renovations are complete. What you're looking at now is a satellite picture of the top of the Frontier building. The right side of the picture is the front of the building, and the left side is the back part of the building where ICA classes will be located. The 4 HVAC units circled in red are probably between 30 and 50 years old, and these are the ones being considered for replacement. 3 of the 4 units circled in red are not working, and 1 of the 4 units is working, but it's as old as the other 3 units, so it may need to be replaced as well. The unit circled in black is approximately 7 to 10 years old and is working just fine, so we're going to leave it as it is. One of the nice things about the new HVAC units being considered for purchase is that they will provide both heating and air conditioning. So in August and in late spring, when it's so hot, the students will have air conditioning in their classrooms. We also had the sewer pipes scoped with a camera and are very happy that all the pipes are clear and there were no problems. Some other planned outside renovations include water mitigation around the backside of the building and cement repairs. The CSP grant also includes funding for playground equipment, so we're excited and looking at available options for playground equipment that can be placed in the back of the Frontier building. The renovations planned for the inside of the Frontier building include new lighting fixtures and paint in all the classrooms, hallways, offices, and bathrooms. The floors and carpets will be cleaned, repaired, or replaced. Bathrooms will be cleaned and renovated with new toilets. And to ensure safety and security of students and staff, we are creating a new back entryway to include a second set of doors and a security window to the office. We are also installing an advanced security system, cameras, new doorknobs, and fire alarms. Our goal is to have a safe, warm, bright, and inviting school building so students feel welcomed and invigorated. All renovations and remodeling costs are ICA's payment for the use of the Frontier Center building. We are excited about this and we feel it will be a win-win for ICA as well as the district. And lastly, in early spring, the ICA board's major accomplishment was hiring a new headmaster. We selected Mrs. Jessica Turner, who is an excellent fit for ICA. Mrs. Turner is from Colorado Springs and is the oldest of 6 children. She holds a bachelor's degree in education from Martin Luther College in New Elm, Minnesota. Her background includes 10 years of classroom teaching experience and 4 years in administration, 2 as a dean and 2 as an assistant headmaster at a Title I school in Texas with a student population of over 1,500 students. In Texas, Mrs. Turner was part of the Great Hearts Network and has lots of classical education and training. We are thrilled to have her as our headmaster and the leader of our classical charter school. Her hobbies include hiking, biking, and playing piano or violin. What she loves most about teaching are the students' aha moments. Now I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Turner, and she is going to tell you about ICA's educational program.
Well, thank you, Director Punch, and thank you, Elizabeth School District Board of Directors and Superintendent Snellberger for inviting us out this evening to be able to share with you more about Independence Classical Academy. With almost 15 years of experience in education, I can honestly say that classical education has become a deep passion of mine, and something that I'm really excited to bring to the community as we seek to offer more choices and options for our family and our children. And so I'd like to start with, and I do this because this is just part of classical education, is asking questions. So with each of my slides, I'm going to be asking questions along the way. And the first question that I want to focus on is that what is classical education? And that's, you know, what we get asked all the time, right? Is what is it? And so classical education believes that a humane liberal education is much more than test scores and scholarships. We seek to cultivate and to teach the whole person, and that's the body, the mind, and the soul. So students need PE, they need recess, and they need sports. Our minds and bodies are connected. The cultivation of the human mind cannot thrive unless the human body is healthy. We seek to help students build their gross and fine motor skills as well as hand-eye coordination. We not only train the body, but as a school, we train the mind. The early years of school are spent in absorbing facts systematically, laying the foundation for advanced study. Children at those early ages actually find memorization fun, and they're better at it than we are as adults. So during this period of education, it involves not self-expression and self-discovery, but rather the learning of facts, the rules of phonics and spelling, the rules of grammar, poetry, the vocabulary of foreign languages, the stories of history and literature, descriptions of plants and animals, the human body, the facts of mathematics, the list goes on. It is not merely, though, just the memorizing of these facts for passing exams. Rather, the early years of school cultivate a love of learning and fosters intellectual curiosity and wonder. And these are the basic building blocks for the next period of education. Stay on this slide, yeah. So in the middle grades, students start to learn how to work through arguments. And they love sometimes to argue with parents and teachers. By 5th grade, a child's mind begins to think more analytically. Students are more interested in finding out why rather than in learning about the what. And so this is a time when a child begins to pay attention to cause and effect, to relationships between the different fields of knowledge, and to the way the facts fit together into a logical framework. We're moving away from the concrete, what they can hold, and more into the abstract. During these years, the students begin algebra and the study of logic, and begin to apply logic to all academic subjects. The logic of writing, for example, includes paragraph construction and learning to support a thesis. The logic of reading involves the criticism and analysis, of texts. Not just the simple absorption of information. The logic of history demands that a student find out why the War of 1812 was fought, rather than simply reading its story. The logic of science requires that a student learn and follow through the scientific method. Independence Classical Academy is more than just a simple pattern of learning. It is classical education that is idea-centered. In a teacher-centered learning environment, the teacher functions in the familiar role of classroom lecturer, presents the information to the students who are expected to passively receive the knowledge being presented. In student-centered learning, the teacher is still the classroom authority figure, but functions as more of a coach or a facilitator on the side, as students embrace a more active and a collaborative role in their own learning. Classroom management can be more of an issue in a student-centered learning environment, as the classroom can at times seem chaotic and noisy as students try to discover the lesson. In an idea-centered classroom, the focus isn't on the teacher or the student, but on the idea that is being taught. Together, the students and the teachers gather around this idea and continue the great discussion that has been passed down for us for centuries. The teacher is still the authority figure in the room, but is also a part of that discussion and the learning. There's so much that teachers can learn from their students as well as students from each other. But we cannot just train the body and the mind, we must also train the soul. One of the chief goals of classical learning is the acquisition of wisdom, which Thomas Aquinas defined as the ability to order things rightly. But in order to achieve this, you must know their relative worth. And in order to know the relative worth of things, you must know their true worth. You cannot say that anything is better or worse unless you have an ultimate standard that gives meaning to those terms. Something is better if it is good and beautiful. So at Independence Classical Academy, our students will seek truth, beauty, and goodness. These three pillars evoke wonder and inquiry, wonder and delight, which are the foundations of wisdom and inquiry. In a world that is ever-changing, classical education equips students with the skills necessary to navigate complexities and solve hard problems. It encourages them to engage with the great ideas of the past and to question, analyze, and build upon them. This method nurtures wisdom and virtue, preparing students not just for careers, but for lives of purpose and meaning. Moreover, classical education instills a sense of community and shared values. By studying great works of literature, history, and philosophy, students learn to appreciate different perspectives and cultures. They develop empathy and moral reasoning. becoming not just informed citizens, but also compassionate leaders. In conclusion, embracing classical education is an investment in our future. It empowers our children to think deeply, to engage thoughtfully with the world around them, and to become the leaders we need in these changing times. So what are we trying to do then at ICA? Well, ICA will offer a classical education for students in grades kindergarten through 5th grade, adding 1 grade level each year until reaching K-8. All students will study literature, mathematics, history, the sciences, the fine arts, music and art, Latin, and physical education. Students will gain a solid foundation in the core subjects and become exemplary leaders who are taught how to think, not just what to think. Academic and personal integrity are essential to the success of our educational mission. ICA will partner with parents to develop the students' intellect and character by grounding them in strong morals. We have 7 core foundation stones or virtues that we will use in relationship to our curriculum as we seek to form the soul. And those are teaching our students to respect others, respect themselves, respect those in authorities, responsibility, that they take ownership for their own actions and not play the blame game, citizenship, self-control, integrity, cooperation, and then one of my favorite virtues is that of perseverance. And that when things are hard, you don't give up, but you continue to persevere, you continue to battle through. And we need that. We need that now more than ever. By investing years of virtue, habituation, and so that's that habit formation. So we are forming these habits and practices of virtue so that it frees their mind to think about the higher things and then to be able to seek the higher things. And so by investing in this, we are permitting our students to seek lives that will thrive and that will have purpose. We're going to provide our students with the moral tools needed to live in a democratic republic and then to share in the common virtues and values of our community as well. So what does this look like? I've talked a lot about the philosophical. Now let's get into, okay, what does this look like? Well, we will follow the core knowledge sequence in grades kindergarten through 8th grade. This curriculum encompasses language arts, mathematics, science, history, geography, fine arts, and physical education. Core knowledge is founded on the idea the ease with which one learns new information is highly determined by the amount of background information one already has learned on a given topic. So the more you know, the more you can learn. Reading comprehension, speaking and writing fluently, and critical thinking will rely on a rich vocabulary and broad knowledge base. The curriculum is characterized by knowledge that is context-rich, cumulative, content-specific, and coherent. We will also utilize Singapore mathematics, which is a fantastic curriculum, starting with the concrete, where in the young grades they're manipulating the numbers, they're actually being able to hold it, to feel it, to touch it, moving into the pictorial, where now they're drawing it, and then moving into the abstract, where now they're looking at the equation, they're able to think about it deeply and be able to speak it, and not need the visuals necessarily for help. And then we will also utilize the great books. And I often get asked, well, Mrs. Turner, the great books are old. Well, we don't just love them because they're old, but we love them because of what they add to the conversation of life. The great books seek to answer the hard questions of life. How ought we live? How ought we order things? How ought we engage with one another? And so stemming from the great books is the backbone of our civil discourse. Reclaiming the great books for young minds teaches them first how to listen, then how to think, and finally how to persuade. So classical education then opens a window into wonder through its curriculum. When students read the great books such as Homer or Jane Austen or even Little House on the Prairie, those books challenge them and inspire them. And then through Socratic seminars, these discussions that we have, they discuss these big ideas, learning to think for themselves. The liberal arts, math, science, history, and music broaden their perspective, showing how all knowledge is connected. And so this isn't just rote memorization, it's an adventure in ideas. Classical education is also rooted in the Western and American tradition. So at ICA, we have a commitment to the core knowledge sequence and classically oriented curriculum with a virtue focus along with professional classroom instructors and extraordinary parental engagement that will all prepare ICA graduates for successful citizen leadership. So, you may wonder, okay, is classical education still relevant? And I did have one of my family members actually ask me this question because they said that's so old school, and pun intended. and I said to my family member, absolutely. It is absolutely old school, and it is absolutely still relevant today. Its focusing on reasoning and virtue is more vital than ever in our complex, fast-changing world. While rooted in tradition, classical education adapts to modern needs. Students do learn how to navigate technology, learn to navigate global challenges and diverse perspectives, all while grounded in timeless truths that have withstood the test of time. So, how can you peer now into this window of wonder? I encourage you to explore other classical schools and homeschool programs. I also encourage everyone to start reading some of the great books, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, or even some of Aesop's fables. Little House on the Prairie are some of my favorites. Also, please check out our website, independentclassical.org, to learn more about our programs. I do want to thank you all once again for providing us with this opportunity to present. We are just thrilled to have this option now and choice for our families here in Elizabeth. And as I've already heard from some parents, that they are very excited that they don't have to now commute to like Lone Tree to receive a classical education, but that there's one option then right here in Elizabeth. So thank you again for the time this evening.
Yeah, thank you. That was a very great, detailed explanation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just love it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so, board updates. Who wants to go first? Me, I've been sidelined by family and COVID, so I'm just coming out of my cave.
I've just, my biggest thing lately has just been reading, just trying to understand more about math instruction and what, we put men on the moon, obviously, we did that, it's not fake news, and we were able to do that using math instruction that is pretty much lost, it's pretty much gone, and we have to figure out how to get it back. And so I've been trying to read up a lot on that and how we can start to introduce actual good math instruction back into our schools, so that our one of the biggest things, getting students to actually enjoy math again. That it's not, even if they don't enjoy it, they're like, oh, I can totally do that. I don't, I want to be, whatever, so I won't do that, but I can do that. Working, 1/3 plus 1/2 doesn't frighten me so much that I get sick in my stomach. And we gotta recapture that. So I've been trying to just do my own homework before we, in the new year, start really jumping off on that. And I know one thing. Mike and I were talking. Kim had said that she was going to get some data for us.
We're going to talk about that
Oh, good.
momentarily.
So,
Yep.
if we can kind of dig into that and see where we are.
Yep.
It helps to know where you are. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Mary, David, and I were officially sworn in for our four-year term just this last week. So that was really an exciting moment. And, you know, presentations like this one today really reminded me why I ran. I ran because I support parents and I support families and students having options. And I think that opportunities like this in our school district is just going to help our district thrive. I'm so excited about ICA, and I'm looking forward to opportunities in the next 4 years to provide enrichment options for our families here, to attract families from other neighboring school districts, because what we have going here is interesting and it's compelling. So I'm just very grateful to be a part of a board that sees that options are what's best for parental rights and best for students, and I'm excited to be working alongside all of you.
Just kind of following up on the whole options thing. I mean, that's kind of what we are really all about. I mean, there are a lot of public school districts who are afraid of the options, and we are not. And we embrace them. If our public schools are what's right for your child, great. If you need homeschooling, that's great. If you have charter schools, that's what you need, that's great. If you have online schools, that's what you need, that's great. We support them all. And I'm very excited that we do offer that and we do support those things. So
We're capitalists, right?
that's right. So I've had a couple of interesting, fun things that I've done. Last week, one day I went, I now ran in a couple of different first grade classrooms, so I did another one last week. And it's always fun to go in, and the kids are very engaged. And especially the one I just saw, it was very exciting because I saw in action the CHAMPS model, because she showed the kids that. They knew, because she'd say, okay, what level of voice are we talking about? And they were all like, 0. and how do I get attention? Raise your hand. Now, they didn't always do that very well, but we were kind of interacting.
0 is a win.
Yeah, the 0 was a win.
Great.
And, but the raising the hand usually worked, but, you know, they were interacting with me with the story, so it was okay. But I was very excited to see, and obviously it's a common practice because the kids knew exactly what she was talking about. So anyway, so that was a fun thing. And then last Saturday, I went to the matinee of Jane of the Jungle at the middle school, and this was a really cute production. And it was not what I expected the story to be.
Same here.
It was really cute, and it was kind of the story of the changes that a middle schooler goes through. And all of these middle schoolers kind of turned into various butterflies or animals or something, and it was funny, and it was really funny, and it was really good. And of course, the main character, Jane, kind of learned her lesson that just because she's going through these things and she has emotions, that doesn't mean she could be mean to people and just write them off. So it had a very good lesson. But it was very funny because at the end, the director, Mrs. Komeyer, she came out and she said, now you can see what middle school teachers go through every day. And so bless the middle school teachers, bless the middle school students, because it's hard on them too. But we just appreciate our teachers, we appreciate our students, and it was a really cute production. So there was that, and then EEF, Elizabeth Education Foundation, tomorrow. Everybody go to Ziggy's and say, I'm here for the Elizabeth Education Foundation, and get yourself a coffee or a snack or both. And they're going to be donating a portion of their proceeds tomorrow for people who mention EEF or the Elizabeth schools to us. So would appreciate you going there tomorrow. So that's all I have.
Thank you. I just have a few updates. We've had so many accomplishments of our students lately, both athletically and performance-wise and just community service. Our football team made the championship this year. Unfortunately, didn't win the championship, but made it all the way up there. And certainly that perseverance of that team all the way through to the end was very noteworthy. And so congratulations to our players and our coaches and parents who supported those students to achieve that. Wrestling, we've had some really positive news. Our EMS wrestling team went 10-0 this year. Last year they had co-championship due to a technical call that we won't talk about. But this year they have the championship, and so we're really proud of them. And again, to watch those students, just their perseverance and their commitment to being the best they can be, which is really what we teach kids. You know, be the best you can be. That's all we can ever ask. And they achieved, our high school wrestling team just won third in a recent tournament that they participated in at TCA down in Colorado Springs. And then EMS play, I was going to mention as well, just to see our students and the talent and their voices. I mean, it was a musical, and just was extremely impressive. And the time and effort that our middle school teachers and our staff across the district put into working with our students in these amazing opportunities, I want to recognize them too, because obviously it took a lot of time on their part. We are approaching the mid-year time when we are doing math and reading assessments, and this year we're beginning math assessments at the high school as well. So we'll have high school data by the end of next week that we can look at how are our students doing compared to criterion, grade level criterion. We've had community members who say, no, that's norm reference. No, we don't do norm reference in our community. We do criterion. We want our students to achieve grade level expectations, not compared to other students across the country who are underperforming. We want to compare them to the benchmark that's set. And so we compare it to our criterion, which is the grade level expectations in math and language arts. And so we're excited to see the growth. I can tell you from the classrooms I've been in, I expect some pretty amazing data. And you heard tonight middle schoolers who are soaring with the instruction that's happening and the supports that we put into place with iReady. Just want to let the community know during the holiday break, we have 3 days the district is open. So if you're looking for transcripts or you're looking to pay impact fees or whatever it may be, Monday and Tuesday, the 22nd and 23rd, the district is open. And Friday the 2nd, the district is open. So our offices will be available. There may be some that are closed. There'll be signs on those doors if people are taking vacation. But those are the 3 work days during the holiday break for our 12-month staff. We do give our 12-month staff a little break during the holidays because they've worked all summer, and this is a great opportunity for them to spend with their families. So again, any changes to that schedule will be posted on doors and certainly on voicemails if people are looking for folks. But we're excited. It's a great time of the year. So many things going on. We did have some animals today. Our parents received communication about that. We did have a mountain lion sighted on the middle school property. So we did go into a secure hold until we could be sure that the mountain lion had gone. They're more afraid of us than we are of them, but we wanted to make sure they really were afraid, so we got rid of them. And then we also had 2 bald eagles land on our tower today, so it was like a wildlife day today. So to have 2 bald eagles and so I don't know if the mountain lion was looking for the bald eagles or the bald eagles were looking for the mountain lions. So anyways, yeah, but just to everyone, you know, certainly Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, best wishes for a Happy New Year. We're excited. We've got 2 weeks of great instruction underway, and then we'll have a little break before we start again next semester. So, yeah.
Everybody works so hard.
So with that, that's it.
Any public comments tonight? So next up, we have our consent agenda items, 8.1 through 8.5. I move that the board approve consent items 8.1 through 8.5 as presented.
Second.
Aye.
Whoever said that, go ahead.
Can I get a roll call?
Director Callahan?
Aye.
Director Fletcher?
Aye.
Director Hunt?
Aye.
Director Olson?
Aye.
Director Powell?
Aye.
Okay, and next up, we have election of Board of Education officers, and I haven't done this in a while, so bear with me on this. This is new, is this CASB verbiage? Swearing in
Yes.
the election, so.
That's where I get most of my info when it comes to election from.
Okay, so with that, nominations are now in order for, let's start with the president role.
I nominate Rhonda Olson for president.
I second.
Okay, Rhonda Olson, are nominated. Am nominated.
I know.
I need to do some I
We're
read
gonna get you into the
English. Okay.
I didn't write this script.
I know. Are there any further nominations for the office of president? Are there any further nominations for the office of president? Okay, can I only do that
You only do
twice?
it once.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Seeing none,
Roll call.
nominations for the office of president are now closed. Can I get a roll call?
Director Callahan.
Aye.
Director Fletcher.
Aye.
Director Hunt.
Aye.
Director Olson.
Aye.
Director Powell.
Aye.
Okay. Next up, nominations are in order for the office of vice president.
I nominate David Fletcher for vice president.
I second the nomination. And are there any further nominations for the office of vice president? Okay. So with that, seeing that there are no more nominations for the office of vice president, we have David Fletcher as nominated. Can I get a roll call?
Director Callahan.
Aye.
Director Fletcher.
Aye.
Director Hunt.
Aye.
Director Olson.
Aye.
Director Powell.
Aye.
Okay, nominations are in order for the office of secretary. I nominate Mary Powell as secretary, if I can do that.
Yes.
You can.
Okay.
Who
Okay.
seconded it?
Dave?
Sure.
Oh, Nicole, okay.
Are there any further nominations for the office of secretary? No? Okay. With that, I will get a roll call.
Director Callahan.
Aye.
Director Fletcher.
Aye.
Director Hunt.
Aye.
Director Olson.
Aye.
Director Powell.
Aye.
Okay, next up, nominations are in order for the office of treasurer.
Nominate Mike Kelly.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. All right. Any further nominations for the office of treasurer? Okay. With that, can I get a roll call?
Director Callahan.
Aye.
Director Fletcher.
Aye.
Director Hunt.
Aye.
Director Olson.
Aye.
Director Powell.
Aye.
And next, double duty.
Double duty.
Assistant secretary and assistant treasurer role. I nominate Nicole Hunt. Okay, any further nominations? I think we're
We're out of people.
Dan! Seeing none, can I get a roll call?
Director Callahan.
Aye.
Director Fletcher.
Aye.
Director Hunt.
Aye.
Director Olson.
Aye.
Director Powell.
Aye.
All right. Check that one out.
Wasn't that bad?
And our next item is a reminder of our automatic renewal for the contract of superintendent. So there's a renewal clause in the contract, and as part of process procedure, every year we acknowledge that renewal. So,
It's my job to make sure that I bring that to you, so you have the next 2 months to act if you want to stop that, otherwise you're stuck with me another year, so.
so we have 2 months to lock the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doorway the
Never
key.
let him leave.
Put it in there. Okay. All right. Next up, we have our mill levy certification. This is our annual approval to set the mill rates. We typically do this in December, and it's required, so we can raise the local share of school funding as outlined in the School Finance Act. So with that, I move that the board approve and certify the mill levy collection rates for 2026 to be submitted to the Elbert County Tax Collector.
Second.
Any further discussion on this one?
I will just share,
Okay.
you know, we have a $1.6 million mill levy that we collect every year. Because our community's growing, the mills to collect that are shrinking, so tax bills should be smaller this year because of that. So we went from 4.029 mills to 3.48 mills. That's a challenge for a school district when you have kind of a flat mill, is never grows even though your district grows. But I think it's important for folks to know that overall, our mills are going down by 0.5 mils, and as far as what we're charging to maintain our local share, which is required by the State Finance Act, even though our local share is increasing. So tax rates are dropping while our share is increasing. So again, that's a sign of our community continuing to grow. So just, yep, that's a win. So.
So, I'm looking at page 2 of the everything, so, what number did you say? I'm confused.
The overall mills for Elizabeth School District is 30.55 mils. I have last year's in front of me, just for reference, and it was 31.048 last year. So it's dropped by 0.5 mils from last year to this year. Even though we're raising more money locally, our local share this year went up from 12,252,000 to 13,947,000, and yet we're still the cost to the taxpayer is decreasing.
Thank you.
And if you'd like a copy of last year's, I'm happy to share that with you.
Any further discussion on that? All right, can I get a roll call?
Director Callahan?
Aye.
Director Fletcher?
No.
Director Hunt?
Aye.
Director Olson?
Aye.
Director Powell?
Aye.
Okay, next up is a revised board schedule for 2025-2026. So basically what we're looking at is revising the schedule to take it back to 2 meetings a month. I move that the board approve the revised board schedule for the rest of the 2025-2026 year.
Second.
And one thing I would just like to say as part of the discussion is, you know, I know we tried it, and it was painful. But we gave it the old college try, but I personally prefer 2 shorter meetings a month versus a very long. I think it's more productive with 2 short ones. It's
And
easier on Jean.
Really, and then just point out the one exception is the second meeting, and, I mean, we've gone to the Tuesday meeting schedule. The one exception is, Monday, January 26th, so that's a Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there was
Yeah.
a conflict.
Yeah, we actually have a college recruiting night that we're inviting board members to join us for, so.
So anyway, just wanted to point that out.
And I will note, just, it used to be we did the business session and then the working session. This calendar reverses that.
Okay.
Because I think we discussed when we went to one, that it made more sense to do the working prior to the business. So I kept it that way when I revised it.
I also think having 2 meetings per month, I mean, our constituency, they get a chance to hear twice a month, or speak twice a month, we're more connected to them, you know, instead of once a month, it's like, man, I haven't seen anybody.
Mhm.
So, I don't know, I feel like we're disconnected, so.
I think it allows for opportunity for reflection on the policies, feedback, just some time for folks to think about it for a little bit longer, which I'm always for more public participation and especially the community or parents to be able to participate and give feedback.
All right, well, with that, roll call.
Director Callahan?
Aye.
Director Fletcher?
Aye.
Director Hunt?
Aye.
Director Olson?
Aye.
Director Powell?
Aye.
Okay, so next up, we're looking at the district calendar for 2027 and 2028. So, I move that the board approve calendar A as the official calendar for the 2027-2028 school year.
Second.
So this process was a little different this year. We offered 4 options for calendars, and what we got was very split feedback. The calendar that actually had the largest number of votes between parents and staff was actually a calendar that split the holiday break. So students left on Thursday, 2 days before Christmas, and then came back Wednesday or staff came back Wednesday and students came back Thursday of the week after New Year's Day. Because we had 4 choices, parents spread their choices out. Our concern as a DAC really was, will parents who travel, which many families do travel for the winter break, will they just pull their students out during those 3 days, and then will we end up with a lot of staff sitting in an empty classroom? And so we talked about doing another survey. As I consulted with a number of people, the concern was we'd already done 2 calendar surveys. Everything else on calendar A matched the calendar that had 2% more votes than the other 3. However, it didn't split the holiday break. And just in talking with schools and talking with principals, there was really just concern that, again, we're gonna do that. Many families may say, yeah, that's fine, but I'm taking my kids out because we're traveling. And so I made the executive decision to make that recommendation to you. You certainly, as a board, have the option of the other 3 calendars if you felt there's one that's better. Calendar B was the calendar that, again, had the largest number of votes, but literally by 10 to 15 different in numbers. So my recommendation would be that we go with calendar A. It does eliminate fall break, which both calendars that were selected did so. The challenge in that calendar is how the winter break falls. And so to get the number of days and to balance the semesters to the degree that we could, we would have had to literally have people come back August 1st, or near August 1st. I think it might have been the 2nd or something like that. But really, our concern is middle and high school has air conditioning. They're fine coming back. Our elementary teachers and our elementary students really do suffer in the heat. And so this year we had no complaints. This was the first year, I should knock on wood really loud. No complaints about temperatures. Yeah, but to start on August 8th or August 18th for elementary students seems like that certainly puts a lot of the summer behind us, and we're talking about really 2 weeks of potential temperatures versus 4 weeks. So I'm making the executive recommendation to go with calendar A after talking with a number of folks and feeling like one more survey would create more survey fatigue. We want our parents to respond to our spring survey, and a 3rd survey on calendars. We really was concerned that we would, yeah. So calendar A is our recommendation.
And I think that your concerns and the school's concerns were valid, and I think calendar A addresses that. And I know that we have to try and meet the wishes of the most people, but we still have to get that academic time in, and we also have to think about kids in the elementary schools because August 1 is.
Yeah, it is. 2 other features real quick that I forgot to mention. There is no late start in this calendar. Overwhelmingly, parents and staff said, we just don't think it's working. It also opens up transportation for students on Thursday to our charter schools. Right now our one charter school hasn't done late start, so their parents miss out on transportation on Thursdays, where this now allows us to be on a similar schedule. Their schedule actually very closely now aligns with ours, and so we felt like that was a positive. I do want to make it clear that fall break doesn't have to go away forever. There will be a time where winter break and Christmas ends up further into the week, and we won't have to do away. There was a lot of feeling from staff that fall break was really important for a week, but again, that would have pushed our elementaries to open significantly early. So I just want to be on record that this goes to a 4-day fall break, a Friday and a Monday for teachers, and a Thursday, Friday, Monday for parents. But it doesn't have to stay that way. It's going to be recommended for this particular calendar because of the makeup. So.
That's why we review it every year.
Yep, exactly.
And I'm glad you clarified that because it still exists. It's just not quite in the form that
Right,
it's been in the
right.
past.
And it does mirror what Legacy does right now. So Legacy has a Friday, Monday fall break. We'll have similar. So again, we're opening up those transportation options to families who are choosing to take advantage of those.
It seems like it things, and personally, but I didn't realize that there was, I guess it just didn't hit my brain that there was a fall break, and then there's a Thanksgiving break, and then there was
The winter break, yeah.
I personally think that's a little out of control, and I know that there are other school districts that don't have a fall break at all.
Mhm.
So, you know, I just think this is more logical, and I think it's also good that the Christmas break isn't split, because
Mhm.
that would put them trying to travel on the 23rd
Yeah.
or something. By the time you're trying to do that, you're on the road with 9 million other people,
Mhm.
or in the air, trying to get
Mhm.
airfare and all that
Mhm.
stuff, and I think that's the
Yeah.
big thing. And the late start, I think is getting rid of that, I think that makes sense to me as a, if I were a parent having to deal with that, I did, when my
Mhm.
grandchildren lived with me, I remember that Thursday morning thing, and I thought, this is a pain for working parents to have to
Yeah.
deal with that extra hour.
It is, it is.
So,
So in lieu of that, we have gone to a teacher workday a month, so we had to add 3 teacher workdays because we already had some. So teachers will have a full day to do planning, to do professional development, to look at student data every month,
yeah.
versus an hour, which often becomes 20 minutes by the time that everyone gets where they need to be. So we really feel like in the end, and then for families, it gives them a long weekend to plan around versus late start every Thursday, which does become a problem for some families.
I like that much better. Just an hour to focus.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
by the
much
time
for
you get your coffee
productivity?
and
No,
sit down and,
no.
try
Yeah.
to find a quiet spot,
Okay, well, with that, can I get a roll call?
Director Callahan?
Aye.
Director Fletcher?
Aye.
Director Hunt?
Aye.
Director Olson?
Aye.
Director Powell?
Okay, next up, we have another revised district calendar for the 2026-2027 school year. So I move that the board approve the revised calendar for the 2026-2027 school year.
Second.
So this calendar mirrors some of those features. We still have fall break next year because it works within where winter break falls next year. We're starting a little earlier, August 13th, which is still not August 1st.
Yeah.
And actually elementary students start on the 17th. So middle and high school start that week prior. We have eliminated late start on this calendar, so we will not have late start. We did have to add 3 teacher work days. We recovered 28 hours of instruction by eliminating late start. So to add 3 days of teacher time, it's less than that. So we are increasing instructional time, even though we did take some student contact days and make them teacher work days next year. So we still have more instructional time, even though we have a couple of less days of school next year.
Okay. Any further discussion on this one? All right, can I get a roll call?
Director Callahan?
Aye.
Director Fletcher?
Aye.
Director Hunt?
Aye.
Director Olson?
Aye.
Director Powell?
Aye.
Okay, and next up, we have the Independence Classical Academy contract with the Elizabeth School District. I move that the board approve the Independence Classical Academy contract with the Elizabeth School District.
Second.
So this contract, I appreciate ICA's partnership in working through it. We started with a template contract provided by our attorney, worked with their attorneys, had some areas that we negotiated, and I believe what we bring to you tonight is one that we're both happy with and meet the needs of both ICA and the district. And so happy to endorse the approval of this contract. Based on some social media, I do want to indicate there's still those benchmarks that I know ICA is working really hard to meet. Those are a part of this contract, so there's still those things that I know ICA will more than definitely meet in the requirements. But I know there were people in the community that said, why are you doing this when they haven't met those? They're part of the contract, and that's not unusual to have performance indicators in a contract. So we're very confident right now with the progress that they've made that they will meet those benchmarks, and so strongly endorse this contract.
And I'm excited, and I think this is gonna be a great option for our school district, and I look at it as a partnership, a little competition too.
Mhm,
That's all right. But, you know, I appreciate the fact that I like your model, and I know that we're incorporating a lot of what you're doing as well, so, and that's why I say it's a good partnership, because we're doing the core knowledge sequence. We're going back to the explicit and direct instruction. So, you know, the classroom
Champs.
management,
Yeah.
yeah, so, I think it'll be a good partnership, and I look forward to it.
Yep.
Yeah, I just wanted to say evaluations of the contract to make sure that we're coming into it as equal partners.
Yeah.
I think that's really important for trust, transparency, the ability for families to know that we're all in this together. So I'm grateful for that. And then I just love this opportunity because we don't really have anything quite like this in our school district. I do think it's going to attract families and students from other school districts into our district and provide an option that a lot of families don't have currently. So I'm really grateful that this is going to be an option we can offer to families.
You know,
And
she said.
And you know, speaking of, you know, I think, you know, I want to welcome all of those Douglas County School District families. Come on over to Elizabeth. We love you. We welcome you with open arms.
We got Adam District
We've got our
here, we
lovely
got the
schools
Charter
and,
school,
yeah.
we have space for you.
Yeah,
Yes.
we have space. So come on over.
Love it.
I've been involved with classical schools as an adult for pretty much most of my adult life, I guess. And I've always been grateful for just, we gotta go back. We gotta go back. The old models worked, and anything that you can slap the name progressive on is just, it's not, it's gross, it doesn't produce, students that, you know, we all talk about that we want students that can critically think, and that's exactly the opposite of what we turn out. And I'm a huge fan. All the ones I've been involved with were Christian classical schools, but the models, I mean, just learning history, not from a history textbook, but from the great books that exist out there. You know, the history of the Peloponnesian War is a fascinating way to study the, you know, Sparta and Greece. I mean, there's so much that's better about it than what we do in it. And, yeah, I want to bring some of that into the other schools as well. So.
Some of this, you know, we're all talking about makes me want to kind of like, could I connect to some of these things a little bit? That's like what I did, but learn quite that way, so.
You want to audit?
Yeah.
Audit some fun stuff.
Well, and I'm excited that our teachers are embracing the idea of, you know, these methodologies. So, with that, any further discussion? All right, can I get a roll call?
Director Callahan.
Aye.
Director Fletcher.
Aye.
Director Hunt.
Hi.
Director Olson.
Aye.
And Director Powell.
Hi.
I say, can't change your mind now.
A little suspense there.
Okay, so next up, we have some policies coming up here. And first up is the first reading of revised policy KB, parent engagement in education. So I move that the board approve the first reading of revised policy KB, parent engagement in education.
I will say that these three policies that we're looking at tonight are all required because we accept federal dollars. It is a conversation that I'd love to have at some point with the board about whether that is in our best interest to continue to accept federal dollars. We don't receive a lot. I think we receive under $400,000 in the different title categories. And what's happening is the strings that are attached are actually getting larger. I was a little disappointed with the current administration that they're actually getting more challenging. For instance, a paraprofessional under a title now requires that they have an associate's degree. So we have a lot of paraprofessionals right now that don't have associate's degrees, that are doing amazing work, that work very well with our special education students, that work very well with all of our students, and the title strings are starting to definitely cause potentially some people who we can't continue to employ in the future. Title funds we did spread amongst our two elementaries and our middle school this year, which means all three of those schools have to meet those requirements. So my proposal would be that we go ahead and move these policies. We can talk through them. There's certainly opportunity for some modifications. But I would like to engage in that conversation about whether federal funds are really worth the support. Education is a local initiative, and I don't know that the amount of funds we get for title are really outweigh the factors. So my thought would be first take it to FAC and have FAC take a look at it in January when they meet, and then come back to the board with further conversation about that topic.
There's a lot of administrative stuff that we have to do.
Exactly.
And it's, when I read through this policy first, I was going, what how much are we doing? How do we do it? And so that, I mean, I don't know, I guess, does everybody have their?
Yep, put it in front of the binders.
I have gone through and put some other variety of notes and things, so, you know, I don't know how detailed we want to get tonight, because we will be looking at it again, we can kind of look at things, later, but, like, encouraging parents and families to share in school and district planning and the setting of objectives through participating in school and district accountability committees, so I guess that's the DAC and the SAC, so that's how we do that, so that's good. So that's, page 2, that's in the paragraph 1 there. I was a little concerned about, paragraph 4, about the wording of that, because it said provide opportunities for parents and families to be informed about their students' progress toward attaining proficiency on district academic standards through written materials, and it originally said, and public meetings. And I was a little worried because this seems to be referring to, you know, a particular student's progress, and we don't want that being done in public meetings. So I suggested some wording changes in there, getting rid of public meetings and changing that to parent-teacher meetings. And then there are, I think we do have to have public meetings, right? So public meetings and written information shall explain generally how the student's project progress will be done. So I kind of, you know, tweaked the language in there a little bit just to kind of separate out the public from the private part. And but we do have to have public information so that parents generally understand how this whole thing goes. So, you know, that was kind of my thought in there. And then that one, paragraph 8 that was in there, I struck that all together. That particular paragraph made me nervous. I didn't like that a lot. So, anyway.
And I don't think any of those changes, Mary, are out of line or cause us to be out of compliance, so. You know, the tie to the state SACPI, when we really found that organization to, again, not be valid. It's not an organization that's representative of our particular region, and so, again, I'm not sure that's required in the policy. I think it's been suggested, and so we can certainly look further into that. So I do think there's some work we can do on this, but I think first reading, there's a chance for you to take a look at it further. Any other changes, certainly we're happy to take either tonight or prior to our next meeting. And then we'll come back with some modifications, take Mary's recommendations into account, and any others that are provided.
I wanted to add anywhere in these policies where it distinguishes children and youth rather than just students. I prefer that we don't do that. I think that's an attack that's been
Yep.
used to try to differentiate certain rights that might apply to youth versus children.
Okay.
And I prefer to just call them all students.
Okay, we can do a search for that and try to do a
I know
replace.
it's in 9, but
Okay.
in case it's throughout,
Yeah.
so it's CASB recommended language.
Would you rather students be? Student, I agree. I think that's the right word. Because that's what we're referring to. So, yep, okay.
And I love all of the suggestions that you have, Mary. These are great.
That's a good.
I appreciate you doing it like that.
Well, I
That's
tried.
what- yeah.
I felt a little bit of deja vu. I did my job, and back to the red line days. I could, you know, I did like it, but, you know, and I can read a red line better than a lot of people because I lived with them. But after you get 27 colors going on, it's difficult. But anyway.
I think just making sure that we do just a matter of, you know, it's like that test where they have the bunch of definitions, or a bunch of words on one side, a bunch of definitions on the other, and you just kind of,
Yeah.
that's what we gotta do. We just
Yeah.
gotta, all right,
Yeah.
this matches to DAC, this matches to,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
yeah, we're in compliance, thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah.
We are.
But that's the very reason that I think looking at the do we get
Yeah.
enough benefit out of it for all of the administrative stuff we have to
The,
be sure?
the student benefit is barely one interventionist in the district for 3 schools.
Wow.
So again, while it's 300 and some thousand, when you look at all of the little categories, there's 10,000 for second language learners. Doesn't even cover a staff member. You know, professional development funds that are limited in how you can use those. I mean, there's a lot of hoops we're jumping through for very little student benefit, and that's really what we should be about, is what's the student benefit. So
It gets sliced up.
yeah, it gets sliced up pretty drastically.
Eaten up by
Yeah, into
administrative
categories that
costs.
are very categorical, and you can't cross those categories. So
There may be another way to recoup.
yeah, I think there is. I think with the money savings that we're accomplishing this year, the underspending that's occurring, I think we wouldn't lose any services to walk away from it.
Having Justin is like flying on an airplane at 50,000 feet, just create gas.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Okay, so with that, so we need to
Just roll
amend
call.
my motion
No,
to.
it's first reading.
It's the
So
first reading,
yeah,
so we'll
just a
bring it
roll
back
call.
with the changes,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so any further discussion on this one? Okay, can I get a roll call?
Director Callahan,
Aye.
Director Fletcher,
Aye.
Director Hunt,
Aye.
Director Olson,
Aye.
Director Powell.
Aye.
Okay, next up, we have the first reading of revised policy KBA, District Title I Parental Involvement, Parent Involvement. I move that the board approve the first reading of revised policy KBA, District Title I Parent Involvement.
Second.
Second.
Okay.
So again, this is specifically around Title I. Some family seems to be an added word this year, kind of like from the shall to the wills. Now we've got family added in. Again, there are some things, I think Mary's recommendations are very, very strong, and I think we certainly can do a lot more work on this before we bring it back to you.
Now, one thing I can say on this is, you know, a lot of this stuff is common sense, and a lot of this stuff that we're doing, you know, and there's more stuff that I want to do that I don't need a policy to tell me to do, like literacy night. But again, the administrative overhead that this comes with, it's, you know, you've heard me talk about Vollmer's list before, for everybody out there, BOLLMER. When you look at all of the administrative burdens that have been put on schools, from your state government, your federal government, where
We don't have
where
time to
to
teach
act-
anymore.
Exactly, where, you know, we're even having to teach about gun safety now, and it's like, really, come on, you know, so, you know, and I know we're gonna get the social media harassment saying, well, you're not trying to reach out to the parents. No, we're already reaching out to the parents. We're already reaching out to the parents. We want engagement, but this is, again, just strings that come with money. And it takes the focus off of where it should be, and that's on educating kids.
Some of the degree that it's requiring that we add another staff member to deal with the administrivia, which we don't get money to do that. So we're getting a little money to help with an interventionist when in fact we're having to add responsibilities to other people who are already busy in the things that they're doing to support kids. So.
And I think some of this stuff is just, especially in the next one, it's way overreach. I mean, why don't we just step into their living room and change the channel for them? I mean, we're telling them, you're responsible for monitoring your kids' television watching. And I'm like, that's not our place. But this stuff, it's overreach.
If you're a Marxist, it's totally different.
Angels.
So we'll do some work on this, and we may actually choose to hold off until the second meeting in January, so we can have a FAC meeting prior to bringing this back, if that's okay.
But I love everything. Discerning youth and what was that
Yep.
you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, do a search for that as well.
Yeah, we'll do the same on that one.
Okay. Any more discussion on this? Okay, can I get a roll call?
Director Callahan,
Aye.
Director Fletcher,
Aye.
Director Hunt,
Aye.
Director Olson,
Aye.
Director Powell.
Aye.
And next up, it is the first reading of the new exhibit, KBA-E, School Level Title I Parent and Family Engagement. So it's a school parent compact. So, I move that the board approve the first reading of new exhibit KBA-E, School Level Title I Parent and Family Engagement School Parent Compact.
So Mary did point out compact seems like an odd word in agreement, but compact is actually what's in federal law. So
Yeah.
if we have this, we should keep that word because that's what they require us to have. This is not required to be signed, but that in essence we communicate this agreement to families in areas where we are a school-wide program. It would go to every family, and if we were a targeted assistance, meaning only certain students qualify, those families would have to be aware of this or sign it. So I know there was some discussion about, well, let's have it signed if we're going to have it. I think there's value in both. So again, I think Mary's got some great suggestions. I think we can also, I don't know if youth appears in here, but if it does, we'll certainly search that and do the same replacement.
Well, I guess I'll go with compact.
Yeah.
That's the statute
Yeah.
required, but we think it's weird. But I do have to say, I'm just gonna make one more plug for it. I mean, I actually looked up the definition of the word compact, and it says, other than a small car.
Yeah.
And it says it's a written agreement signed by the parties.
Yeah.
And so I really, and I know the little note from
Yeah.
whoever said that, said, it doesn't.
Doesn't have to be signed, yeah. If you're gonna have it, you
If
might
you're
as well
gonna call
sign it.
compact, by golly, it should be signed.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, I'm really strongly in favor of it should be signed, because otherwise parents are gonna get it and stash it away.
Mhm.
At least they have to look at it if they're gonna sign it.
Yeah, agreed.
So we're gonna force them?
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
again,
I
I
mean,
just
it's
think
sort of, and I even kind of softened the little language in front of it. I said, everybody will agree to perform the responsibilities outlined in this compact, to the best of their ability, because I figured, you know, enforcing is gonna be tricky.
Yeah, what if I don't? What if I don't listen?
Yeah, well, and.
Can I get my list?
We call the compact police to come out.
Yeah.
They drive little cars. Sorry.
They're little smart cars. Oh my goodness.
Sorry, it's late.
There's a picture in my head. Anyway, I just think the point of signing it is really just try to at least get the parents to know that they've seen it. And it's not gonna be enforceable because, you know, all these things you can't really enforce. But at least we know they've seen it if they signed it. It may just be the last page that they saw, but.
Again, it's just
Anyway, it's
so
just,
overreach.
it's just one of those language things, it's like if we're gonna call it this, it should be.
Then they have to agree on how to spend their extracurricular time with their child.
I have a child in school, I'm not signing it.
Yeah, this is so
And it's enough
overbearing.
to talk.
But, you know, again,
I'll set the time card over to you.
this is stuff we already do.
Yeah.
And, you know, I do wanna to have more opportunities for engagement, or at least verbalize and make them known that, you know, hey, volunteer in the classroom, let's have literacy night,
Yep.
let's make math fun, like
Yep.
Kaiser was talking about.
Yep.
But this is, Jamie, do you have time in your schedule when you're trying this? Okay.
And I'd argue, I mean, we have the parents' rights and responsibilities
Yeah, we do.
policy
Yeah,
that
exactly.
already
Agreed.
encourages that,
Agreed.
we didn't need federal
Right.
requirements
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
for us
And there may
Because
be
a lot of these things
there
we
may
have
be,
in our.
there may be value with our KBB policy as we revise it and make sure we
Yeah.
update it with all of the new things we've added, to actually send that home, for parents, so
Yeah.
that they know, hey, here's
I think
all
we
the
need to do
places
that.
you do have rights and responsibilities, so that may become what we actually should be sending home, to say, please acknowledge, these are your rights and your responsibilities and what you can expect of us, and
Exactly.
so that may become something that we should do that would be more beneficial to parents.
Well, and I just, rather than some of this, I think it's more important, hey, help make sure your kid shows up to school, and
Mhm.
shows up on time,
Yeah.
and they're doing their homework.
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
And those things are in the parents' rights and responsibilities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are.
KBB, they are in
I'm
there.
gonna come over and
Mhm.
change it.
Give me that remote.
Set up your Wi-Fi.
All right, any more discussion
Just
on this
kidding.
one?
Just kidding, everyone, just kidding.
Contact, please.
I'm gonna come in my little baby car.
All right, can I get a roll call?
Director Callahan.
Aye.
Director Fletcher.
Aye.
Director Hunt.
Aye.
Director Olson.
Aye.
Director Powell.
Aye.
So next up, we have, our board planning and new business. So our next Board of Education meeting is scheduled for January 13th, 2026, here in the boardroom. One thing I wanted to bring up that I forgot earlier in my excitement about this, is there's been a lot of commentary out there on social media that I was hoping maybe we can address.
Mhm.
There's those good old rumors coming up about mold and asbestos and hey, the district is covering this, and so mold.
There's none. We test regularly at Frontier. We have air quality samples that are tested regularly and shared with our current occupants, and we don't have any. Asbestos, we have an asbestos management plan. There is asbestos in the building that if we were to renovate, if we were to tear down walls, if we were to pull up tile, we'd have a problem. Otherwise, it's encased and it's safe. And so we monitor tiles, we monitor, in that particular building, there's that the asbestos management plan has asbestos in some mastic and not in others. So it's truly is, the plan identifies exactly where asbestos is expected, where it's thought to be. So no, Elizabeth Middle School is an older building, and it probably has asbestos there too, if we were to break into the encasement of some of the parts of the building. So that's monitored, it's checked annually, and so again, all of our buildings are safe. We wouldn't be using them if they weren't. So
And the state wouldn't let us use
no,
them.
exactly. We have to inspect
Yes.
for those buildings to pass health inspection, safety inspection. They have to be inspected regularly.
Okay. All right, so with that, now we are gonna go into executive session. So I move that the board move into executive session under Colorado Revised Statute 24-6-4024B, conferences with an attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions regarding the current lawsuit with the ACLU. Can I get a second? And can I get a roll call?
Director Callahan.
Aye.
Director Fletcher.
Aye.
Director Hunt.
Aye.
Director Olson.
Aye.
Director Powell.
Aye.
Okay, with that,
We have
we're
no
good.
business when we come back out. You're welcome to stay if you'd like, but we will just come out and gavel the meeting closed, so.
have no public comments, so with that, I will adjourn this meeting at 9:01